We haven't seen anybody in a while. Maybe the monsters have stealth suits too. This one looks pretty tough.
I see you. Now I end you.
Med-X reserves empty. Ready, steady, fight. No more Med-X to kill the pain. This one looks pretty tough. Med-X reserves empty.
Might I be of service, sir?
Are we being watched?
Oh, you're back. Did that trampy... You bet I can.
Well, hello there. Can I... You...
I'm so good.
Well, hello there. You can have as much as you like.
You just by looking at you.
Well, hello there.
Time to
The
fight.
eye of Mobius sees you. Destroy this one, I'll make more. Robo-Scorpion, attack! I
I don't want
see
you
you.
to die.
Now I end you.
No more stim packs.
Laser sting! Ow!
No more stim packs.
Stop that!
That's all. No more medics to kill the pain. Starting combat. Just kidding.
Might I be of service? Oh, please, please! Might I be of service, sir?
to commit violence on you. You can't avoid the deadly laser sting of Dr. Mobius! Crush them with your pincers! Crush them with your pincers! X-42, attack! You can't avoid the You can't avoid the deadly laser sting of Dr. Mobius! This is a pre-recorded attack message indicating my desire to commit violence on you. To attack in the name of Mobius! Crush them with your pincers! Crush them with your... Oh, hello there. You are there, aren't you? You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing a little hard to see you. Can you walk into my... Depth perception is a problem with this old... Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. Would you... I have all sorts of amazingly... I forget them all not long after, though. Had to start using the dome floor and walls. Really? That implies preconceived... After all, it might be worth a... Oh, a variety of raisins. You're something of a homily. Anomaly? You see, you are the most successful brain extract. If you were to go back, your brain could be popped back in and you could... Now, that seems to be rather hormonal. Your brain is here. Oh, curiosity. The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Please be my guest. The rest... Oh. Well, every scientist needs... How scary Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes? Then I thought about custard. Oh, I was probably tripping hard on sight. So many chems, such variety. As for the psycho, sometimes get the chem disposit. Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. Some reason for it. Ethics, so... You and your brain are quite... Dr. Mobius. Rather This name's as real as you or I. Someone's been watching too many old... I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasy. Like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget. Now, trap is a rather... But, yes, I did. I certainly didn't until you... The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. I suspect I have Plan 9s in place. But I may have coded myself to forget. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied here. Or as you... Oh, you figured it out. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in... They have all forgotten themselves, and not only... I reprogrammed their chronometer. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. And the world isn't ready for that kind of... Really? It is so unlike me to make it... Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. That, without something to distract them, make them afraid. Then you came along, the final variable solved. There have been other visits. You were irrefutable proof that there was a... See, your brain had a special kind of... Yes, very good. I should have mentats ingest you instead of the other way around. In any event, you showed up at the think tank. Bullets in the head are usually much more... But it was enough for the auto dock in the sink to... That gave the think tank the knowledge... If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial selves into hosts to slip past the radar fence. I'm sure of it. And once they're off the... I consider coincidence to be profanity, along with the words astrology, herbal tea, and luck. So watch it, potty mouth. My threat broadcast is designed to instill and install fear. And along with the emotional download, other data rides the fear carrier wave. It prompted them to focus on retrieving those technologies and bring them to attack me. And coincidentally, pardon my language, all those technologies are needed to... The X2 antenna can be used to focus your alpha, and the sonic sound wave projector emitter. In short, brains, a heart, and courage. Spine. They had them all the time in the story. Didn't stop them from murdering to get them. And it was... Oh. Oh, well. Yes, my overly aggressive camden... Oh, and the... But I couldn't delete you or your arrival. You're really quite difficult to ignore. Do you? And does it even want to go back with you? Tell you what, I'll... Indeed, the goodbye part.
Well, look who finally dragged themselves in. Ah, lovely. Figure that out, huh? Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus and... And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a... I most certainly am not. All those feelings that... Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny. Well... Oh, all right. After the think tank extracted me from your skull, they fell to bickering amongst themselves. Dr. Mobius saw an opportunity to... I don't know. I'm afraid the trauma of our I'm quite sure whatever he... I'm not going to lie to you. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have in your head, I've got poison, radiation. Do you know how much more you can get done? Overrated biological feed. I suppose you're right. Indeed. I suppose there might be some advantage to that. Well, I suppose you've convinced me well. Unfortunately, even if I could settle myself back in your skull, we would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab. And you believe them? Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the and that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a... Well, I suppose I do. Right. Look out, think tank. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. Right then, off we go. Clyde will be in for a...
Oh, I hypothesize after the indignant frequency. If I recall, I had a plan that was working. I wasn't trying to kill the blast. That will be difficult. It would be... And they have an arsenal of vivisectors, brainial beams, and a... If you could survive those highly although I doubt killing them would do anything. Something ingenious and needlessly complicated. I forgot I had forgotten pencils until one day... Well, you could try and appeal to... Well, there's many things they have forgotten, sitting in their... Much like your brain, I am a wise man. Or, if not, you... Then you came along, and brave... Oh, tell them I'm still alive. We had a night... Or... And if you are partial to lying and deception, they're more than a... And if you speak of me, please... Why, of course you can. I'm having the most peculiar feeling of deja... Really? Oh, intriguing. I've never been... Well, if there's going... How should we begin? Engineer and fire... Whoa, have they not They can assemble themselves from floor minions. Attacking with a capital G!
You got some plans for me. Ah, yeah, babe.
Was the haps. Right on. Was the haps. Right on. Was the hap. Was the hap.
It's not like I haven't tried to get along with her. Lord knows I have.
Might I be of service?
She's just such a...
Oh, please, please!
floozy.
You require some additional.
Well, hello there. You're going to need... You can have...
A most rapturous good morrow on your return to your domicile, sir. I trust you shall find things in order and the riff-raff contained.
You require some additional. You require some additional. And rightly.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. I recommend... Now, your... And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Besides, there's no... You speak the truth. And the... How do... That's no deal at all. It could have escaped. Seen... Partner with you? My foe? My right... I have a strange sense... Very well. Partner...
So is Mobius as twisted as he looked in person? Can't believe you entered the... Yeah, I, discovered more... You sure are testing... Yeah, there were a few under the monitors. The teddy bear lobotomite return.
Lobotomite! Is it... The lobotomite? Thank you for what you have... I feel an odd...
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other sink personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries, to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World Blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Please tell me you stomped Dr. O's. Who's the...
Might I be safe in the assumption that matters with the think
So you beat the big brains at their own game.
It's not like I haven't tried to get along with her. Lord knows I have. She's just such a...
Will Sir be staying for any...
Where to, partner?
What's up? Back in your good graces again?
High roller suite. Casino floor.